So I just wanted to do a quick little video. I was talking to someone. I don't know her. She actually messaged me on a Facebook yard sale page about some items that I had for sale. And strangely enough, we kind of started having a conversation about mainly going through divorce and how life can change. And sometimes you don't think about it when you're young, about getting older, approaching middle age, in your 40s, maybe even 50s, whatever, and trying to start over. But sometimes life throws things at you that you don't foresee, things that you don't want, but things that you can't control, and you just have to deal with them. And so it just kind of got me thinking about how I've been in situations where I have had the literal rug and the metaphoric rug pulled right out from under me and had to start over with virtually nothing. And sometimes I don't think that always having to start over is a bad thing. I went through a pretty ugly, messy divorce a while back, a couple of years ago. And when my marriage ended, I pretty much thought that it was the end of me. Well, not really the divorce itself, but how the marriage dissolved, because I was very broken in my relationship. Not only was my heart broken, but my spirit had been broken. Let's be honest, I was a total fucking wreck. And I lost all my self-worth. I really didn't feel like I had anything of value to give to anyone or the world, or even to myself at that point. And I made a lot of really crazy, reckless decisions when I was pretty much throwing myself at anything and everything that was dangerous and crazy, and I guess really just reckless. I felt like I needed validation. I needed to find some sense of self-worth, and I looked everywhere for it. But sometimes it's not out there in the world to be found. True self-worth really only comes from within, and you can only find true self-worth inside yourself. You're not going to find it out there in the world, no matter how hard you look for it, no matter how many crazy things you get yourself involved in. It's only going to come from inside you. And so, I started over, and I was in my mid-40s. And at this point, I walked away from my marriage. I didn't own a car. I did not own a house. I owned a lot of debt and an 18-year-old daughter. And that was really all I walked away from my marriage with. And it was scary. It was so scary to start over. But it was just something that I had to do. And during the years, it's not been a lot of years, but a few years. But the time since then, I have found myself probably more my true self than I ever even knew existed in the years prior to my divorce. I've learned that I really love things that I never thought that I even would love or even like. I have learned that I'm capable of so many things that I never would have dreamed I could have been able to accomplish. It's crazy, but you know, I have a great relationship with my adult children. My grandchildren, I absolutely adore them, and I have a great relationship with them. And I have an amazing relationship. I met someone, and he is a good bit younger than me, and a lot of people, you know, really had a lot of reservations about that. A lot of people thought that that was crazy and another reckless choice that I made. I guess a lot of people thought that that was some kind of midlife crisis, or that it's some kind of natural reaction to going through a divorce is to find a younger man. But it's not like that at all. He is so good to me, and he appreciates me, and he makes me feel not only young, but he makes me feel so alive and so capable. I mean, that's the thing, is he makes me feel like I'm capable of accomplishing anything that my crazy mind comes up with. Like, I have all these ridiculous ideas from time to time, and he has so much faith in me and so much encouragement for me that he pushes me to believe that I can do those things. And then there are things like finishing college. He pushes me to do the things that I need to do. Like, I had dropped out of college for 1.5 years, and he just would not have that. So now I'm back in college finishing my degree because of him. And I've always had this dream. Like, it's always been my thing to want to live in the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know why I'm obsessed with the Gulf of Mexico. I loved Biloxi and Gulfport, Mississippi. And my son, you know, he recently moved to Fort Myers, Florida, him and his wife and my granddaughters, and I miss them so much. And so my husband, yes, I married him, has now convinced me that this is the best time ever. Like, there's no time like right now to chase my dream. And so we've started the application process at the apartment complex. We're getting rid of a lot of things that we don't want to move with us, and we are in the process of taking that leap to move to Fort Myers, Florida. So now I'm finally going to have my dream of living in the Gulf of Mexico, and I owe that all to Henry, because, you know, I wanted to live there, and I probably would have really wanted it even more, you know, when my son and my daughter-in-law, my granddaughters moved down there. My phone rang. But I never would have believed that I could do that on my own. I would have wanted it even more with my son and daughter-in-law and my granddaughters there, but I never would have probably taken that risk on my own without the encouragement from Henry. And so I'm anxious, I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited about this new chapter in my life, and I'm very excited to be starting this adventure, you know, with him. So I just wanted to take a minute to say that sometimes, you know, sometimes life knocks us back. Sometimes life knocks the wind completely out of us. But it's not always a bad thing. It's bad in that moment, and you should own that moment. Like, you grieve it, you hurt, you cry, but then you pick yourself up and you realize that sometimes life knocks us back because it has a better path for us to travel on. And the path that I'm on now is so much better than the path that I was on before. And I'm grateful that my ex-husband broke me the way he did, because I was able to search deep within myself and build myself up and find a person that I really like so much more than the person that I was. So just remember that sometimes starting over isn't always a bad thing.